The FISA law requires the government to get a court order that specifies a particular target. Early in 2006, in San Francisco, a retired AT&T technician named Mark Klein made an allegation against his former employer. He said that AT&T had diverted huge streams of live internet traffic and turned them over to the NSA.
I believe I have significant information to bring to the table on this matter, and I've been struggling for some months now to bring it out into the light of day, and that's all really that I want to do.
Klein, who worked for AT&T for 22 years, says that in this building on Folsom Street in San Francisco, on the 6th floor, the company constructed a secret room.
What they'd done, they had taken live working internet circuits, interrupted them in order to tap into them, new cables that split off the data and sent that data to the secret room. One side of the split goes to the secret room, the other side goes on to the network.
Klein says that these AT&T documents and diagrams back up his suspicions.
These are laser light signals which carry huge amounts of data, and it's domestic data, not just international data. It's all mixed up. It all goes through these pipes. Everybody's data, your email, your web surfing, your financial transactions, your video and pictures, your voice over internet, everything goes through these pipes.
Klein believes that the signals were diverted in order to give them to the NSA.
The only person who could go in the secret room was the management level technician who had been interviewed by the NSA. We needed a code to punch in order to get in there, and only the guy with NSA clearance had the code.
Brian Reed is the director of engineering at a Silicon Valley nonprofit called the Internet Systems Consortium. He is an expert on internet technology who has held senior engineering posts at Google, Digital Equipment Corporation, and Bell Laboratories. Reed has reviewed Mark Klein's documents and believes that they are authentic.
These just look to me exactly like all the AT&T documents that I'd seen through the years, and every detail was right. The installation that I saw documented in Mark Klein's documents is something that will tap 100% of the traffic passing through that AT&T San Francisco facility and pass it to what Klein referred to as a secret room where it can be studied and analyzed for any purpose, whatever. I have no doubt that this is a wiretap setup, and I cannot imagine any other plausible use for this setup.
In January 2006, Mark Klein shared his documents with the Electronic Frontier Foundation, or EFF, a San Francisco-based advocacy group for internet privacy.
What he told us was that after the news broke about the warrantless surveillance program, Mr. Klein rethought what it was he was doing right before he retired and essentially said, oh my God, I think I helped create this infrastructure. I think I was involved in handing people's emails over to the government.
At the time, EFF was thinking of filing a class action lawsuit against AT&T, based in part on a Los Angeles Times story that reported that the company had given the NSA access to its customers' records. Cohn retained a consultant to evaluate Klein's documents, J. Scott Marcus, an internet systems engineer who had formerly served as the senior advisor for internet technology at the FCC.
We basically took what Mr. Klein told us and we gave it to Mr. Marcus and we said, do you think this guy's telling the truth? Does he have a story that hangs together?
In a legal declaration submitted to the federal court, Marcus stated, I find Mr. Klein's declaration to be fully consistent with the documents and entirely plausible. It is highly probable that funding came from an outside source, and I consider the U.S. government to be the most likely source. AT&T declined our request for an on-camera interview. In a written statement, the company said, AT&T is fully committed to protecting our customers' privacy. We do not comment on matters of national security. The NSA also declined our request for an interview. Since 2006, dozens of class action lawsuits alleging violations of customer privacy have been filed not only against AT&T, but also Bell South, MCI, and Verizon. And in some places, state governments have stepped in, requesting information from telecom companies on their citizens' behalf. An effort that in New Jersey led to a confrontation between the state and federal governments.
We got involved after the papers reported that there was a widespread program being run by the NSA involving caller information. At that point, we stepped back to start thinking about the state's obligations to protect the privacy of its individual citizens. And what we found when we looked at it was that there was the possibility of a violation of New Jersey's Consumer Fraud Act. If a company's policy had given you a written piece of paper that said, we won't give out any of your call information except pursuant to court order or subpoena, and then they did turn around and do that, that would be a violation.
To find out if that had happened, in May 2006, the State Attorney General's office issued subpoenas to phone companies that did business in New Jersey. One company, Verizon Wireless, said it had not released data to the NSA. Several other companies consulted with the federal government.
They did something that I think is highly unusual in that they went to the federal government, and the federal government brought litigation against the state of New Jersey to stop the enforcement of the subpoenas.
The Justice Department has also tried to block similar state inquiries in Connecticut, Maine, and Missouri.
What they've done in doing that is try to say that absolutely everything in the United States of America is Homeland Security, that preempts every single state from trying to protect individual rights or from states from doing anything. And I think that can't be right.